Hello everybody. I was inspired to make this video by my colleague, and probably he's right. I'm working on project since a year and I'm struggling with that. But he's right in that it is good enough. So what I'm talking about, it's a kind of beta version, but let's see. So the whole is about an HT1080Z. So it is one of the first school computers from Hungary. So it is a Z80 emulator. I can split the functionality to three main parts. So the first one is the Z80 itself. So this is the CPU emulation. The second one is the FDC. FDC as the floppy disk controller. And the third one is the menu. Let's go through one by one and you will see why I'm splitting that way the project. What I forgot to mention, HT1080Z, this is a TRS80 compatible machine because this is a license of the video Genie, which was the clone of the TRS80. So the Z80 emulator is not my own project. I found the source code on the Microcore Labs GitHub account. It was written by Ted Fried, and what it does is simply emulating the Z80 as a hardware. It is pin compatible. So if you solder it together and upload the firmware, you can just replace the Z80 with this hardware. But it was not enough for me, so I expanded that one. And there is only one small issue with this one. While it can substitute the Z80, it is not cycle correct. So it is not really holding exactly all the timing. But what it does, and this is the most important, is it is clock accurate. So it means if one instruction takes, let's say, 22 clocks, then waiting, so the wait states are pushed to the back of the code execution. But it is still working properly because the HT1080Z, it is very simple. I've tested around 90 different softwares and all those worked both on TRS80 and on HT1080. But let's cut it short, jump for the FDC. The original code for the FDC was developed by Calf2. I hope my pronunciation is good enough. And he developed it for TRS80MSX. What it is doing, it is emulating an FDC 1771, but it is limited. The functionality is limited to use a simple image format. So it is just a binary image. That's it. And what is not implemented, I cannot format floppies with this code. But this one is good enough because I was able to boot two different operating systems for the TRS80. I can load programs from the floppy images. So this is really a good enough solution. But for sure, this part can be extended. The third part is my own part. So this is the menu for the HT1080Z. And it is written by me, so fresh code. And what I've wrote is a kind of glue logic. So I'm gluing together the Z80 emulator and the floppy disk controller, plus the TRS80 specific part. What you can do through this menu, you can select ROM, so you can load different ROM versions. You can turn on or turn off memory expansion, so RAM expansion. So you can use it with 16K of memory or 48K of memory. And as in the original Z80 emulator from MCL, you can turn on turbo mode. But I think it is the best if you check out how it is working and then you can decide if you are interested. Okay, so as you can see, the machine is already running NuDOS, but I need to go to the main menu. So there are two options. The first one is turning off and on again. So this is the IT way, but I can press the reset button twice within 3 seconds and it makes the same result. Okay, so it's obvious I need to hit space. So we are in the menu. I won't go through one by one. I will jump between because first I will check out everything which is not related to the floppy emulation. It is easy to manage, so if I push 3, that way I can change 16K and 48K memory. So that way I can turn on and off the RAM expansion. And if I press 2, then I can select which ROM file to load. So the ROM content is loaded from the SD card to the memory of the microcontroller, and it makes easy to switch between different versions. Even on this clone, I can load the original TRS ROMs and vice versa, so I can load the video Genie or this HT1080 ROMs. But first of all, I load the diagram. To make it properly, I need to change the acceleration mode, so I'm pressing 1. The default is clock accurate, so the speed is same as the original computer. If I select that, both types of memories are mapped to the 10C memory. I can speed up the machine in 2 steps. Step 2 gains speed up by caching the memory, so the RAM and the ROM mapped and all the reads are cached. Step 3 is full speed ahead, and there are 2 more. The next one is ROM shadow only. This is what I will use. The diagnostic can test entirely the hardware of this machine. The last available setting is in fact 0, because that way only Z80 emulation is working only. So now I'm pressing 0 and it will start the ROM shadowed diagram. Let's see how it is working. Okay, so the machine is working. Let's reboot it without floppy emulation and change to the latest ROM. So right now I'm in the basic prompt. I can write a small code. Let me speed it up in the video. So as you can see, basic is just working. And now let's load cassette files. I've selected the cmd command. It is not used by default, so that way I can invoke a menu, and it is using the same file browser as the others, so you can control with the same keys, and it makes possible to load cassette files. I cut this program because I would like to demonstrate how can you select the speed from code. So it is possible to change the turbo mode on the fly. The change is very simple. I just need to write the turbo mode to port 0. And let me do it once more, but now I'm pushing the pedal to the metal, and it makes typing almost impossible because the keyboard polling is also in turbo mode, so I have to type very fast. The question is if you can play that fast. Okay, so now jump back to the menu and let's turn on the floppy emulation. As the first step, I'm booting to TRS-DOS. So in the menu I need to find the TRS-DOS disk file, and then I load it to drive 0. As you can see, I'm not familiar with that one, so I'm jumping back to new DOS. Okay, so new DOS is booted. Let's look around what is mounted. Maybe I can try to swap a disk. It is not an issue because I'm just running this menu program, and it is again invoking the very same menu, so that way I can change the image. I load the game before closing this video. Okay, I'm making typos, but finally the same galaxy is loaded from the emulated floppy disk. I think that's all I can present now. Please find additional resources in the description below. I hope you enjoyed that, and I wish everybody a good game. Bye bye.